Welcome forward to the Sankofa series on behalf of Black and African American Studies at San Joaquin Delta College. The National Black History Month theme of 2025 is African Americans in Labor, and we lovingly dedicate our series this year to standing on business. This is session 1, the story of A. Philip Randolph and the Brotherhood of the Sleeping Car Porters. The 2025 Black History Month theme, African Americans and Labor, focuses on the various and profound ways that work and working of all kinds, free and unfree, skilled and unskilled, vocational and voluntary, intersect with the collective experiences of Black people. Indeed, work is at the very center of much of Black history and culture. Be it the traditional agricultural labor of enslaved Africans that fed low country colonies, debates among Black educators on the importance of vocational training, self-help strategies, and entrepreneurship in Black communities, or organized labor's role in fighting both economic and social injustice, Black people's work has been transformational throughout the U.S., Africa, and the diaspora. The 2025 Black History Month theme, African Americans and Labor, sets out to highlight and celebrate the potent impact of this work. The Association for the Study of African American Life and History. "2025 marks the 100-year anniversary of the creation of the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters and Maids by labor organizer and civil rights activist A. Philip Randolph. A. Philip Randolph was the youngest son of a poor preacher who was deeply committed to racial politics. He was born in Crescent City, Florida on April 15, 1889. He went on to graduate from Jacksonville's Cookman Institute in 1911 and relocated to New York City soon afterward. In 1917, Randolph and Chandler Owen founded The Messenger, an African-American socialist journal critical of American involvement in World War I. Randolph's reputation as a powerful activist grew in the 1920s, which led to his association with the Pullman Porters. A few years after the Civil War, Chicago businessman George Pullman began hiring thousands of African American men, including many former slaves, to serve white passengers traveling across the country on his company's luxury railroad sleeping cars. Working as a Pullman porter became a coveted job, even a career, and many brothers, sons, and grandsons of porters followed in their footsteps. Porters were paid more than what many other Black workers made at the time, and the work was not backbreaking when compared to field labor. More importantly, they got to travel the country at a time when this was unthinkable for the vast majority of Black Americans. The Pullman Porters would eventually help to fuel the Great Migration and shape a new Black middle class in America. By the mid-1890s, the American Railway Union had organized most Pullman employees, but refused to include Black workers, including porters. Along with the opportunities for advancement that they enjoyed, Pullman porters undoubtedly had to put up with tremendous prejudice and disrespect. Many passengers called them Boy or George, after George Pullman, regardless of their real names. This was an uncomfortable throwback to slavery when Africans were named after their owners. Pullman porters often worked 400 hours a month with little time off. While their salaries were envied in the Black community, they were among the worst paid of all train employees.
Jim Crow was designed to break the spirit of the Negro and make him feel that he was inferior. They said that Negroes could not be trusted, A black man is not the equal of a white man. Consequently, he should do more work and get less pay than the white man. That's the theory which has affected and regulated the life of the Negro worker in this country from the days of slavery up to the present time.
Known for being an advocate for workers' rights, in 1925, Randolph was chosen as the founding president of the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters. He was not employed by the Pullman Company, and unionizing would not cost him his job. Randolph used the messenger to raise awareness of the labor movement and to directly address Pullman porters, making statements such as, "The call of the hour is to you to be men." Tirelessly campaigning on behalf of the Union. Over time, Randolph convinced black leaders, clergymen, and newspaper editors that Pullman's paternalism masked what was in fact a servile position for blacks within the company, and a subtle recapitulation of the master-slave relationship. In the process, the BSCP became both a vehicle and a symbol of black advancement, and helped facilitate the rise of protest politics in Black America. In 1935, the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters became the first African American union organization to be granted membership into the American Federation of Labor. The Pullman Company agreed to negotiations with the BSCP, and in April of 1937, after 12 years of resistance, a contractual agreement was finally reached, which included an increase in wages and a cap of 240 hours per month. The BSCP's influence in the labor movement included a role in assisting the Great Migration by dispersing information about job opportunities and greater equality for black people in the North. As the passenger car industry declined after World War II, Randolph and the BSCP became early and influential figures in the civil rights movement, as the fight for labor rights is inextricably linked to civil rights. In 1941, Randolph threatened a march on Washington, D.C. if the federal government did not address racial discrimination in the defense industry. In response, President Franklin D. Roosevelt issued Executive Order 8802, which banned discrimination in the defense industry and established the Fair Employment Practices Commission. Randolph also helped to form the League for Nonviolent Civil Disobedience Against Military Segregation, which influenced President Harry Truman's decision to desegregate the armed services in 1948. In 1959, Randolph founded the Negro American Labor Council, the NALC, in an effort to effectively present the demands of black workers to the labor movement. Randolph and NALC helped initiate the 1963 March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom, during which King delivered his famous "I Have a Dream" speech. Randolph continued to be an outspoken advocate for equality and took a leading role in efforts to redress discrimination in employment. With the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Randolph was one of the principal organizers of the historic 1963 March on Washington, which brought over 200,000 people to Washington to protest segregation and disenfranchisement. He was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom for his lifelong work for universal civil rights. A. Philip Randolph devoted his life to the achievement of both racial and economic equality. On the occasion of Randolph's 70th birthday, Dr. King participated in an evening honoring him at New York's Carnegie Hall. King praised Randolph's refusal to sell his race for a mess of pottage and credited him with never being afraid to challenge an unjust state power or to speak out against the power structure. Randolph returned to the ancestors on May 16, 1979, at the age of 90. Today, we acknowledge and we honor A. Philip Randolph for his commitment, perseverance, and bravery in helping Black people fight for equality and justice in America. Salute.